With the NFL trade deadline approaching, the Pittsburgh Steelers are trying to trade a cornerback that they have acquired a week before the regular season. Cornerback Desmond King. Now, Desmond King signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers just right before the first game of the regular season. And Desmond King had a high PFF grade, higher than the current cornerbacks of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So at the time of the signing, it looked like a great move for the Pittsburgh Steelers, needing the cornerback help. And Desmond King did not get any snaps, any playing time. He was on special teams, on kick returns. And I believe this scenario is like the Melvin Ingram's situation all over for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You get a guy like Desmond King, a veteran guy, who's already established. And his versatility, I think, was attractive to the Pittsburgh Steelers because he can play inside, he can play outside. The Pittsburgh Steelers were kind of, going back and forth with the slot, where they're going to put Patrick Peterson in the slot. You had Elijah Riley and Chandon Sullivan. It's just a lot of moving pieces in that slot. So getting Desmond King, a guy, who played both inside and out, so now you have a guy that you can put in there if need be, and I think that's what happened here. Just kind of like Melvin Ingram. You get a veteran guy, Melvin Ingram situation. He's a veteran guy. Just in case somebody gets hurt, you can plug and play Melvin. They gave him a couple snaps just to make him happy, but Melvin really wasn't happy with that because he had more production left in him, and he left the Steelers, and he did produce some, make some more plays. So, and I believe that this is the same scenario. You bring in Desmond King, a veteran, because the Pittsburgh Steelers, for some reason, seem content with Levi Wallace and Patrick Peterson on the outside. I don't know what, or what they're seeing in those two guys. Maybe they're just comfortable with veterans, and that's just all that they have going for them and the coaching staff's eyes. But, you can see that those guys are not cutting the mustard, especially Levi Wallace. He's just not doing it. But they're content with those guys, and if something happens, then you have Desmond King. And I think Desmond King, man, he just knows his worth and his, I think he said something maybe to Mike Tomlin on the, hey, man, the trade deadline is coming up. Can you see if I can get a trade to a team that I can play, so I can start, man. I still have, I still have plays to make, man. I mean, why did you guys, I signed here to play. And if I'm not going to get that opportunity, if you guys have your guys already, you don't want to switch up the positions, you want to wait until an injury or something like that. Why do I have to sit here and wait for that when there's teams out there that's going to put me in the lineup as soon as I get there? They gave them some special teams just to make them happy, just to keep them. Just to keep them here, take this just so you're involved, not the way you want to be, but you're involved, a snap or two here, but that's just not going to cut it. Special teams for a cornerback is really not scratching the itch of him wanting to play, so, I think there's probably some commotion there. And the Pittsburgh Steelers know this situation all too well with the Melvin Ingram. You got trade deadline, or you could just cut them. So, the reports are out there. If they can't find a trade, then they're just going to cut them. So I believe that's the scenario that went on with Desmond King. Just like I said, his versatility was so attractive to the Steelers, man. With them not having a for sure nickel. And so you can put him there, and then guys struggle on the outside, you can put him there, or an injury. Or another scenario, it could have been the Pittsburgh Steelers, I believe they might have wanted Desmond King to stick around for next year. So you get Desmond King this year. Okay, you get him familiar with the defense. You put him on kick returns, and he's in-house. He knows the defense because you look at it, Levi Wallace, I think his contract is up at the end of the year. Patrick Peterson signed a 2-year deal. So, I mean, you want 2 years of Patrick Peterson. So it's like, hey, all right, it's going to be you, Joey Porter Jr., and Corey Trice. You three will be the guys moving forward after this year. Levi will be gone, and Patrick, I don't think we're going to move forward. I think that was what was the plan in the Pittsburgh Steelers' mind, but I don't think Desmond, probably will want to go along with that, because you're basically saying that, okay, well, I'm agreeing to playing the role and sitting around and maybe waiting on an injury to happen, or I'll return kicks and stuff just to get the ball and just to stay in game shape until next year, when my role really starts. That's when I can really play and I can really do what I want to do and start. I don't think he, if that was the scenario, I don't think he would be with that. I don't think nobody would agree with that, especially, like I said, if your grade was higher than the rest of the corners on the Pittsburgh Steelers. My grade was the highest. I mean, who can say anything about PFF grades? But, it's there for a reason, and people go on it if you don't. But, so, the eye test showed you I'm better than the corners that you have starting, and you want me to play the role until next year or wait around until an injury occurs. And this is just the way I see it, because he didn't get enough time to get traded because of bad play. It's like he didn't play enough to say, well, we're cutting him or trading him because he's not the guy we signed him to be. He never got a chance to be the guy he was signed to be. I don't think he was signed to do kick returns. McFarland, that was his role. He went out, so there was an opening. So, you put Desmond there, like I said, to keep him around, get the ball in his hands, to keep him involved so he doesn't get too angry with not playing on a corner, too many snaps on cornerback. So you can kind of keep the peace until, unfortunately, you don't want a guy to go down. But if there's an injury, then you can say, here, it's your time. Or, so that's the only the way you can make sense out of it, is because it's like, hey, what other sense does it make to sign a guy a week before the season? Don't play the guy, a cornerback. You sign a cornerback a week before the season. You put him on special teams, kick return. You give him a snap or two on the defense, and then you trade or looking for a trade, or you're releasing him. That sounds like, he may be he's not going along with what the Pittsburgh Steelers, had planned for him. His plan was to start like he did in Houston, play snaps like he did in Houston. That's what he thought he was doing. Seeing the Pittsburgh Steelers secondary, I bet you believe he thought that was what he was doing, and it just didn't happen. So now, why do you get rid of a guy that fast, and he didn't have any time to show? He didn't give it any playing time to even be bad, to ship him out. So it can't be his play. Maybe locker room cancer, said some things at practice or something like that. But that's the only other thing, other than the scenarios that I laid out, is why they signed him, to keep him around, have a veteran, just in case somebody goes down, we can plug and play a guy. We don't have to, this guy don't have to learn this, and now all he has to do is learn what we do around here. And if we keep him around, we got him for a couple weeks. Yeah, couple weeks. Now he's one of us, and we can put him in due to injury, instead of an injury happen and we have to go out free agent market, make a move, and we already have somebody. So, or like I said, scenario 2, hey, we're losing guys next year, so it can be your job. Just hang around this year. Like I said, maybe an injury happened. You can feel in that way. We had our guys just hang around, and then you and the young boys, Joey Porter Jr., Corey Trice will take over moving forward. Those are the two scenarios that I can see making sense, for the Pittsburgh Steelers and why they would sign Desmond King a week before the season, and not give him no playing time on a cornerback position, just the special teams, and now looking for a trade or releasing him. So we'll just have to see what happens with the Desmond King situation. Looks like he's probably going to get released. They picked up a young cornerback, put him on a practice squad, so that spot is filled, and Desmond King is probably, most likely out of here. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. It's looks like it's done. So here we go, and it's time to move forward. Thanks for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to get all the new videos. And until next time, I'm out.